Unspoken Issues.
Now, we are going to get into our next book, which is going to be UltraForce Infinity. So this drops same day, September 28th, 1995, according to Mike's Amazing World of Comics. And our creative team here, story by Ian Edgington, from a concept by Warren Ellis, John Royal on pencils, Jeff Whiting on inks, Vicky Williams lettering, C. Young and R. Panacea on colors. Real quick on the creative team, Ian Edgington got quite a few story credits, 228, according to Mike's Amazing World. His first, I think, was January 1st of 1991, which was Dark Horse Presents number 48. But you might recognize him from writing Terminator Enemy Within. Yeah, Alien. There's an Alien story he did called Aliens Rogue. And he's going to be involved quite a bit here with the relaunch of the Ultraverse under Marvel. And then John Royal, 48 credits, and I didn't really write down too much here other than you might recognize his work in Knights of Pendragon from 1992. He's definitely a 90s guy. He devotes most of his work in the 90s, but Knights of Pendragon was the longest thing that he was on, kind of a journeyman. So before I get into this, I mean, we're getting into UltraForce. So I'm curious as to what we're getting. We saw at the end of UltraForce Avengers, there's an UltraForce team, doesn't seem too different except Jimmy Ruiz is no longer around. It's Bob Campbell. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I think we're going to pick up, right? Surely that's what makes sense to me. Sure enough, we got two stories taking place on two different worlds. One of which, wherever the UltraForce actually is. The other one is on the experimental Earth that Nemesis created. We're going to see the UltraForce team headed by the Black Knight, Alex Swan. Those guys haven't gone away. All right, here we go. Story 1. The UltraForce is reassembled under new leadership to confront a rising threat. A fanatic sect known as the Fold, led by a man called Pascal. The Fold has been murdering Ultras, branding them as false idols, and fueling public fear and distrust towards superpowered beings. UltraForce, now composed of Black Knight, Dane Whitman, Prime, Prototype, Topaz, and I probably should say Prototype Bob Campbell, I think is this is the Bob Campbell prototype, if I remember correctly. Topaz and Ghoul. They take up the mission to stop Pascal's crusade and restore faith in the Ultra's role in protecting humanity. As they investigate, UltraForce uncovers disturbing truths. Pascal is actually dead, his body long decayed, yet his name, ideology, and symbolic power continue to be manipulated by his followers. The sect's leaders have used deception, propaganda, and fanaticism to maintain control, even fabricating signs to keep Pascal's influence alive. The team must grapple not just with brute force, but with restoring trust, confronting fanaticism, and showing the Ultras can be held accountable, even when the face of the threat is no longer alive. So that is our first story. Now, both of these stories are kind of being told concurrently, but that's story 1. Story 2. Our second story begins in New York, where industrialist J.D. Hunt's restless night is cut short by the sudden appearance of Mantra. The sorceress ensnares him in a glamour spell, mocking his futile resistance before immolating him in blue fire, leaving nothing but a skeleton behind. News of the killing spreads fast, painted as an Ultra-style assassination. Watching from their base on the new world, UltraForce realizes the danger. If they don't confront Mantra, humanity will decide Ultras are a threat that must be eliminated. Widow, yes, Janet Van Dyne, Widow, orders the team into action, determined to prove they can police their own. Following Mantra's trail across the world, the team moves cautiously into her stronghold, an abandoned military installation warped by the strange artificial reality around them. Each member carries their own burden. Thor with righteous fury, Widow hardened by grief, Black Knight, Alex Swan, somberly reflecting on endless battles, and Prototype, Jimmy Ruiz, nervously joking as he picks up her biosignature. They spread out, wary of traps, but Mantra has already ensnared them in a psychic web. Prototype is the first to fall under her clutches, overwhelmed by psionic waves that stir fear and anger until an eruption of his own power hurls her across the chamber. The confrontation escalates when the rest of UltraForce bursts in. Mantra unleashes her full fury, mocking the heroes as weak, while declaring herself a goddess of necromantic destruction. So is this Mantra or is this Necromantra?
It seems to be an amalgam. Mantra and Rogue, maybe. I just say that because of the way she talks.
She has the accent.
Mantra didn't have that accent. I don't think Necromantra had that accent, so I don't get it, other than maybe, Rogue's the only one that talks like that.
I forgot we got to deal with amalgams here, too.
Yeah, but maybe it's just Mantra. Right. I'm not sure.
Her magic scatters them, but Prototype steadies himself and, despite his reluctance, strikes the decisive blow. His blast tears through Mantra, leaving her broken on the ground. Prototype, shaken, grapples with the reality that stopping her meant crossing a line. Heroes are meant to save lives, not take them. Black Knight and Swan offer grim comfort, reminding him that justice often demands a price. With Mantra defeated, UltraForce stands together, burdened by the heavy truth of what being a hero truly costs. Okay, I'm going to give you your first shot.
All right. I actually did like this one quite a bit more, even though it is confusing, and I don't understand why we still have the Marvel amalgam characters going on. Like, I thought that was resolved. And I've read some of the Warren Ellis era UltraForce stuff when I got back into comics in the mid-90s after being away for a little while. That run was probably like the 7, 8, 9, 10 era. But this stuff was not part of that. So it's kind of new to me. I'm wondering how this is going to resolve with the other Prototype, even though he died in the Black September Infinity issue. So yeah, a lot of moving parts here. But overall, I did think this was a much better issue than the last one. A negative, I think, is they're sort of focusing on the Black Knight, which I think continues past this. I get bringing in Marvel characters to give people who haven't given the Ultraverse a shot, like a reason to pick it up and check it out. But like, how many Black Knight fans are out there? Like, hey, Black Knight, I'll check it out. I mean, I like Black Knight fine, but I don't know if there's that many super fans out there.
It reeks of playing it safe because they're afraid. I mean, Black Knight, okay, he's got some history. I will not say that that's not the case. He's definitely an established character in the Marvel Universe, but it felt like they were just taking somebody that they could, we don't use this guy a lot. He could be the leader of a team over here because they need a leader. I want to ask a question before I forget. We're going to be talking about this Black September or the Infinity issues here. Do we get any Ultraverse characters showing up in 616 titles at all?
Yes, but I don't know that they appear in any issues outside of their own titles. Like Nightman, if I remember right, the Nightman book takes place after Black September. There are two Nightmen. One is in the 616 and one is in the Ultraverse. And I believe Siren, that title, she's an Ultraverse character, but she ends up in the 616. And her story takes place there, but I don't think any of those characters show up in any Marvel books.
We have a whole year that this stuff is kind of like going on. Ultraverse is going to be officially shuttered, in 97, like where we're finally going to get Future Shock, I think is where that happens. But it occurred to me that we're not taking these characters and putting them over there at all. Maybe they did. I don't know. But I don't think they do. I think the one exception might be Rune showing up in a Conan book. Right.
A couple of Conan books. Well, those aren't superhero comics. Like that, which is what the Ultraverse was really all about. And yeah, if you want to bring more eyes to these books, it seems like that would be the way to go. Like having Prime show up in Avengers, or Nightman showing up in Captain America, or one of the standard Marvel titles, Spider-Man or whatever. That might have been a better way. I don't know. I mean, it's all, hindsight's 2020. We're not trying to judge too harshly. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm really curious. It seemed like we had the opportunity to bring Marvel characters show up in your books, but I don't know if we're going to have any of your guys show up in ours. I don't like it being that one way, but anyway, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Black Knight being here, I'm not a big fan of them shifting the focus to Black Knight. Bringing him in is one thing, but making him sort of the lead of the Ultraverse or UltraForce book, it's like he's not even
Right.
part of the Ultra. I don't know.
No,
Kind
I
of
get it.
annoying. J.D. Hunt, who was a big character, largely part of the Strangers storylines, shows up here and is immediately dispatched. That's kind of disappointing. I guess it's not necessarily like he's never showing up again because he's dead here. That doesn't necessarily mean that. But the whole thing with
The Fold?
this group that's trying to kill Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Fold is what they're called. Now, this is coming on the heels of Waco and Ruby Ridge. These seem like an allegory for the white power movement. I don't know if you know about Elohim City.
I don't think so.
It's that's what this compound gave me the impression of. Let me pull it up here now because I don't want to get anything wrong. I only know about it because I've listened to a lot of podcasts about Waco and stuff, and it gets brought up a lot. Elohim City is a private community in Oklahoma, founded in 1973 by Robert G. Miller, a Canadian immigrant, former Mennonite, and one of the most important leaders in America's Christian identity movement, a theology common to an assortment of right-wing extremist groups. They gained national attention for its ties to members of the Order in the 1980s, as well as convicted Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh in the 90s. So that's what this whole storyline kind of made me think of, and I feel like that's what was being echoed with this story, which is cool. You know, it is kind of like you're taking Marvel's mutant thing, implementing that with Ultras. Hey, let's do our own thing, guys. I do like how we see with the amalgam Avengers, basically. Zip Zap is clearly amalgamed with, I don't know about clearly, but it seems to be Quicksilver.
When we were talking about whatever one focused on the Alex Swan UltraForce, Widow was sleeping with Quicksilver, if I remember correct. I don't remember him being African American in that world.
Well, that would even be another great example of how Slapshot.
I'd have to go. I got to go back and take a look at some point, but I don't remember that happening. I clearly would have remembered because you didn't mention the Zip Zap amalgam of Quicksilver before, and you probably would have caught it back then when we talked about it.
Maybe we never got a good enough look at him or something. Who knows? I don't remember. I honestly don't even remember.
This is after Hank gets killed, and we fast forward. We do the time wipe. We're heading forward in time. She wakes up, and she had slept with Quicksilver. I was like, oh, okay. I'll have to take a look to see. But if it's not, then just like you said, it feels kind of slapdash. But then again, this could be a situation where we're on another world all of a sudden.
The interesting thing about Quicksilver's design here, where he's a black guy, and he's got black guy hair, but he also has those two wispy horn hair things that Quicksilver has. That is really weird looking in this. The only other thing I got really Prime straight up ripping off Roddy Piper with the "we're here to kick butt and chew gum and we're all out of gum." I appreciate the reference that they live, and I do like the art in this is John Royal. It's kind of like a standard 90s art. I don't know how to really describe it. A lot of guys had a style similar to this. This is really clean, and you can tell what's going on. There's no confusion about stuff like that. There's some dynamic panels and with the fights and stuff. So overall, the art is pretty solid.
Here's your answer. This is from that issue, and Quicksilver is definitely white. So he's
not a black Quicksilver in UltraForce.
Interesting. Well, again, like you said, we thought that was kind of resolved at the end of that issue, but all right.
The only other thing I really had, there's a letters page here. The letter really speaks to how the hardcore UltraForce fans were feeling at the time. The signs were there that it was going away, and it wasn't great.
That sounds like a plan, because I had it here. It's just that one letter and one reply.
Yeah. They make some good points in their response, trying to massage their fears a little bit, but history tells the story. It didn't work.
All right, let's pick a panel here for our issue of UltraForce number Infinity. What do you got here?
I've got page 5, panel 7. That is the last panel on the page. It's J.D. Hunt's smoking, smoldering corpse. A little bit of flesh left on the skeleton there, but some blue flames coming, almost looking Ghost Rider-esque.
He's definitely...
the touch I like, the flames or smoke, whatever that is, in the eye sockets.
That's good touch.
The empty eye sockets.
It looks pretty wicked. She messed him up good. All right. So for my panel, here is what I picked. It's a little ways down. It's when Ghoul has to talk to Trinity. Trinity is the girl that was, she was lynched or hung herself. I don't know. They might have even talked her into it. So he goes and finds her body, takes her down off of the tree, and then uses his powers and reanimates her essentially. So it's pretty scary looking. All out in green. Ghoul's a scary looking guy already, but her corpse, the ligature marks around her neck, and she just, Pascal.
One other thing real quick about UltraForce. Warren Ellis had not become as big as he would in the next few years after this, but he did that UltraForce Marvel book. You can see a little bit here. This is the concept by him, written by Ian Edgerton or whatever, but it really feels, in retrospect, more like a Warren Ellis's dry run Stormwatch, like as far as the tone. They have a government liaison. That book picks up later, or at least when I was reading it later, with some of the violence and the other issue we covered, like Marvel had less of a heavy hand. There's no Comics Code Authority stamp on any of the Ultraverse titles. Like the writers and artists were given a little more free reign to do more of a darker tinge to the stories they were telling.
Stay on the lookout for more Black September themed episodes all September long in 2025, right here on the Unspoken Issues podcast.